Elena stood in front of the bathroom mirror long after the sun had risen. The small apartment was quiet, too quiet. No footsteps, no voice calling her name, no slammed doors, just the faint hum of traffic outside and the steady rhythm of her own breathing. She rested one hand on the sink. The other slowly moved to her stomach. 7 months. The curve beneath her loose sweater was undeniable now. No amount of oversized clothing could hide it anymore. She hadn't tried today. There was no point. Today wasn't about hiding. Today was about ending something that had already been dead for months. She took a deep breath and met her reflection's eyes. "You're strong," she whispered to herself. "You survived." The woman in the mirror looked thinner than she remembered. Her eyes carried shadows that no makeup could fully erase. But there was something else too, something new. Resolve. The marriage that once felt safe. Once, Elena had believed Mark Harris was the safest place in the world. They met in the most ordinary way, at a coffee shop near the university where she worked as a junior librarian. He had spilled coffee on her notebook, panicked, and apologized so earnestly that she laughed instead of getting angry. He was charming, attentive, and ambitious. When he proposed 2 years later, kneeling awkwardly in the same cafe, Elena cried before he even finished the question. They weren't perfect, but they were happy. At least, she thought they were. The night everything broke, the night Mark accused her of cheating, replayed in her mind more often than she wanted to admit. She had come home late, exhausted, her brother Daniel having insisted on walking her halfway after they attended a family dinner together. It had rained, and she had borrowed Daniel's coat. She barely had time to take her shoes off before Mark spoke. "Whose cologne is that?" His voice was calm, too calm. She turned, confused. "What?" He stepped closer, eyes cold, jaw tight. "Don't lie to me, Elena." "I'm not lying," she said, genuinely baffled. He grabbed her coat from the chair, sniffed it, and laughed, short and humorless. "So now you don't even bother covering it up." Her heart dropped. "Mark, that's my brother's. Don't insult me," he snapped. The argument escalated faster than she could process. Words flew. Accusations cut deep. Years of trust shattered in minutes. She cried. She begged him to listen. He didn't. By morning, his side of the closet was empty. By evening, a lawyer had called. The silence that followed, the weeks after he left, were worse than the fight itself. Silence is crueler than shouting. Elena waited for him to cool down. To call. To ask questions. To doubt himself even a little. But Mark didn't. Instead, divorce papers arrived, cold, impersonal, final. She signed nothing. She hoped. And then, one morning, she threw up. At first, she thought it was stress. Then it happened again, and again. When the doctor confirmed the pregnancy, Elena sat frozen in the chair, fingers gripping the armrests as if the room might spin away. Pregnant, with Mark's child. Calls that were never answered. She tried to tell him. God, she tried. She called his phone until it went to voicemail. She left messages she later wished she could erase. "Mark, please call me back. There's something important you need to know. I'm pregnant." No response. She emailed his work account. No reply. She even went to his office once, only to be told he was in meetings and unavailable. Eventually, she understood. He didn't want to hear from her. So she stopped trying. Learning to be alone. Pregnancy alone is not romantic. It is long nights of fear, quiet tears, and learning to assemble a crib with trembling hands. It is doctor visits without someone to hold your hand. It is choosing between groceries and baby clothes. Elena sold her wedding ring to cover rent 1 month. She cried afterward, not because of the ring, but because it symbolized how completely her life had changed. Still, she endured. For the baby, the court date, the letter arrived 2 weeks before the hearing. Final divorce proceedings. Elena stared at the date circled in red. She knew she couldn't hide anymore. Her belly had grown too large. Her exhaustion too visible. Part of her wondered if Mark would even recognize her. Another part wondered if he would care. The night before court, she barely slept. She folded the tiny onesie she had bought with her first paycheck after taking extra hours. She placed it carefully in a drawer. "I'll come back for you," she whispered. The morning of reckoning. The courthouse smelled of old paper and disinfectant. Elena moved slowly through security, her back aching, her heart pounding. She kept her eyes forward. Then she saw him. Mark sat on a bench down the hall with his lawyer, wearing the same confident expression he used to wear before big meetings. He was laughing. Something inside her tightened. He hadn't changed. Not on the outside. She took another step forward. Her shoe echoed softly against the floor. Mark looked up. At first, confusion crossed his face. Then recognition. Then his eyes dropped. Time slowed. His gaze followed the unmistakable curve of her stomach. The color drained from his face. His phone slipped from his hand and clattered onto the floor. He stood abruptly, chair scraping loudly. Elena. She stopped walking. She didn't turn. She didn't need to. Behind her, she heard his breath catch. "What is that?" he whispered. Her hand instinctively moved to her belly. Her voice, when she spoke, was calm. "It's 7 months," she said. The hallway went silent. Mark took a step forward, his world collapsing in real time. He started, then stopped. "You're pregnant." Elena closed her eyes. Yes, finally. Now he sees. But it was already too late.